We all know the truth. More connects us than separates us. But in times of crises, the wise build bridges while the foolish build barriers. Black Panther is directed by Ryan Coogler and starring Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, Danai Gurira, Letitia Wright, Martin Freeman, and Andy Serkis. Before I go any further, I just want to say there will not be any plot spoilers in this review. In the aftermath of Captain America Civil War, T'Challa, portrayed by Chadwick Boseman, is crowned the new king of the African kingdom of Wakanda. And while having to adjust to his new role as both Black Panther and King of Wakanda, he is now challenged by a newcomer in Eric Killmonger, portrayed by Michael B. Jordan. I have been a gigantic fan of director Ryan Coogler going back to his first film known as Fruitvale Station, and what he proved not only in Fruitvale Station but then his following film in Creed, a new film in the Rocky franchise, is that Ryan Coogler is an immensely talented person, and Black Panther just proves that now on the biggest stage. You can see that he put so much of himself into this film. There is so many details and so many levels and so much depth in it. He seems to do that with all of his films that he has done so far, and where we get a lot of this depth is in the rich themes that are in this movie. This is a film that has rich characters as well as a very new and rich and I would say fresh setting than a lot of the other films within the genre, within the MCU as well. We get to discover the world of Wakanda, and this film is going to resonate with a lot of not only the African American community, but I think anyone with African ancestry throughout the world. This is a film that really shows them on screen in a much different way than we've ever seen them before. This is a film that very much celebrates and shows their culture in a new and rather interesting way. Of course, there have been films in the past that have dealt with African American superheroes. We got Blade, we got Luke Cage, which is on a Netflix series now, but we've never seen a character on this level before, on this world stage, as Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther is. And it's great to see them have the representation that they have so craved for so long. And also another big theme in this film that I have to mention is a very strong female-centric theme in this film. If you see the warriors of Wakanda, many of them are female warriors, and what is so great about them is it just feels like it's so naturally part of their society. There is no questioning the integrity or the quality of these women in this military-style role. The Danai Gurira character is a general in this film, a badass general, and it's also great to see the world of Wakanda and the way it fits within the world that the MCU has set up, and kind of how it could fit in our world as well. Wakanda is a place, without going into too much details for fear of spoiling anything, it's a place that both has traditional African cultural things within its society as well as a lot of future technology that we've never seen before. It is an astonishing mesh of both of those things. Moving into more of the filmmaking techniques, this film is playing within the Marvel Cinematic Playground, so it is a little bit handcuffed to a lot of things that it has to do, especially when it comes to shooting action sequences and really shooting the movie in and of itself. The film is shot by cinematographer Rachel Morrison, who is actually the first woman ever to be nominated for an Academy Award for cinematography, which is astonishing considering that the Oscars have been around for 90 years. That is a long time. And it's also great to see her re-team with Ryan Coogler. They both worked on Fruitvale Station together, and in this film they're able to do a few interesting things. There is a sequence where a long shot is used within an action sequence that I thought was particularly well done, and the action sequences are very sleek and are very well put together. Granted, there is not too many things they could do differently than you've seen in other MCU films, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I do wish they would use a little more ingenuity, it'll be a little bit more ambitious when it comes to the general cinematography in this film and the other films as well, but it is fine. Also, I would say the acting is fantastic. Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa is also dealing with a lot of personal problems and a lot of personal things going on within himself, being a king for the first time, dealing with that burden, dealing with having to be Black Panther as well. There's a lot going on with his character, and all of it was portrayed very, very well. A lot of the characters that we are being introduced to for the first time I thought were fantastic. Lupita Nyong'o, who is an Oscar winner for her role in 12 Years a Slave, is great in this film. She has great chemistry with Chadwick Boseman. There is a lot of interesting dialogue between the two, and she is a rather different person when it comes to the way she views Wakanda's role in the world. Letitia Wright portrays Shuri, who's a character we've never seen before, but she was fantastic. She brings a lot of comedic relief to this film because the Black Panther character seems to be very stoic and very stern and very serious. She brings a lot of lightweight to this film, and she is a key character in this film and in Wakandan society. I have to say that Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger is one of the best antagonists that we've gotten in the MCU so far. He is one who fills a similar role that others have filled. He is very much a plot device, a challenge for our protagonist, but what is great about him is that he has such a strong foundation and such a strong basis of why he is doing what he is doing, why he is the way he is, and he's not just evil for the sake of being evil. He's not just an antagonist for the role of just being an antagonist. He has a lot of layers to him as well, and they are explored very well in this film. He and Black Panther are very interesting yin-yang type characters. We also have a few recurring characters in the Andy Serkis, Ulysses Claw character making reprisal. He was first seen in Avengers Age of Ultron. We also have Martin Freeman reprising his role from Civil War. They are very good. I really liked Andy Serkis not in a performance capture shoot. We get to really see him show off more of his acting chops in live action, and I thought he was particularly great. So now that we've got all the positives out of the way, I do want to talk about the negatives. While I do overall praise this film, as you've seen, there are of course negative aspects with it, as there are with all films. Like I said, this is an MCU film. This is a film that is rather formulaic within the rubric of many of the MCU films, and it does follow that rubric pretty much to the T, unfortunately. So you can kind of predict the plot very easily. It is a rather predictable plot when it comes to a lot of the major plot beats in the film. I found that to be a little frustrating for me personally because I was introduced to so many new elements. I kind of wish they would do something overall with the plot structure. But this is not a breaking point for me in the film or anything like that. This is not something that I think is adherent just to MCU films. This is a genre-wide thing that seems to happen. Another negative aspect I have is that some of the CGI in the film, while I wouldn't say is straight up bad, it just looked very obvious to me. And like I've said in many of reviews with films that use CGI in a lot of its portions, the least noticeable the CGI is, the better it's going to be. And there are moments of this film where you can tell that that is a green screen background, or that is a green screen figure, or something like that. It's very obvious. And that kind of stuck out to me a little bit, considering that everything else in the film, production-wise, I thought was really solid. So with all that being said, I'm going to give this film a 4.2 out of 5 stars. It is excellently directed by Ryan Coogler. The acting is fantastic. This is one of the deepest films in the MCU when it comes to a lot of the themes that are explored. This has been my review of Black Panther. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel.